Hello everyone and welcome to this week's ExtendScript tutorial. In this one, I'm going to be showing you how to make a UI color button, which will allow you to click on this color here, select a new color that you'd like to display, say for example yellow, and everything is going to be nicely coded so that when you update a color, it's going to both update it in the UI, and when you bring the color picker back up, it remembers that color. So essentially we're just going to be using a button UI object and a couple of the built-in graphics features inside of ExtendScript to create this useful button. This will work in any program that supports the scripting UI, so let's go ahead and just get started and create a new JavaScript file and zoom in a little bit. The first thing we need to do is create this actual UI, which is very simple. We'll start off by creating a variable called main window, which will be equal to a new window, and this is going to be a palette type window. We'll just call it color button, and we'll have an undefined size for it. Then, just for good practice, I'm going to set the orientation equal to column. And now we need to make a color button. So I'll just say color button 1 is equal to our main window dot add. We're going to add a button, which usually is just like a button with text you click on, and then we're just going to have nothing for the text. Then down below, I can go ahead and call the size of it. I'll just say color button 1 dot size. And usually a good size for these kind of buttons is anywhere from 20 by 20 to 35 by 35. And that should be good for now, 30 by 30. Okay, so now that we've set the size of our button, we now need to go over sort of the graphics end of things. If we load up the object model viewer and make sure we're under script UI classes, and you scroll down, you can see we have all these script UI objects, including graphics, images, fonts, and brushes. So what we can do if you want to customize everything to your liking and explore everything, you can check out all of these objects to see what kind of things you can do. Basically, you have the ability to draw on the UI specific colors, different strokes, paths, and fills. What we're going to do is call our color button 1, and we're going to say fill brush. And then we're going to set the fill brush equal to our color button 1, the name of our button, dot graphics. You can see it brings up the graphics object that can be used to customize the element's appearance in response to the onDraw event. Now we're going to be using onDraw to basically initiate whatever color or visual changes to the element. When we say onDraw, it's going to update sort of the UI to do what we want. So we're going to grab the graphics of our color button, and now we can go ahead and say new brush. You can see it's going to give us a script UI graphics.new brush, which will create a new painting brush object. Now bear with me as this might get a little bit complicated, but essentially what we're doing is we're grabbing our button, we're creating a fill brush with it, and what this brush is going to do is going to take a type and a color. So when we click on this, we can go ahead and complete that. If we look at the new brush method underneath script UI graphics, we can check out what exactly we need to put in here. Obviously, we need a type and a color. The color is pretty simple. We just need to give it anything from between 0 and 1 in RGB. But for the type, it needs the brush type solid or theme. One of the constants, script UI graphics.brushtype.solid color or script UI graphics.brushtype theme color. So what we'll do is just go ahead and take the script UI graphics.brushtype.solid color, and this will allow us to fill it with a solid. So we need to go ahead and refer to our color button 1 again. We need to grab the graphics, then we need to say the brush type, and the brush type is going to be a solid color. Let's make sure I spelt that right. So we need to reference the script UI graphics object, which is our color button.graphics, the brush type, and then solid color, all caps. So good. We're going to fill it with a solid color. Now we need to give it an array of the actual color using RGB. And this is not 0 to 255 values, it's 0 to 1. So what I'm going to do is just type in maybe 1.5.2. And that's just going to be our random color. Now, if you got a little excited and said main window.center and then main window.show, it's going to appear, but as you can see, it's just a normal empty button. Where's our color at? What we actually need to do, as it said when we were kind of looking into the guide, it said that we need to do onDraw to sort of refresh the UI and update that color. So what we're going to do is grab our color button 1, and then we're going to say onDraw. And as you can see, something is going to be called when the window is about to be drawn. We're actually going to create a custom function called custom draw. So we're going to set our onDraw equal to custom draw. And I'm going to copy and paste the custom draw function from the previous script because it's kind of complicated and I'm just going to explain it. So we have a function called custom draw, doesn't take any arguments, and what it's going to do is take this button. Essentially, we're calling onDraw for this color button. So it's going to say with this color button, first we're going to draw on the OS, then we're going to create a rectangle with this size, and then we're going to fill it with our fill brush. And remember, we created a fill brush right here, which is representative of our solid color. So basically what it's doing inside of custom draw is it's going to take in whatever button it's equal to here, in this case color button 1, and it's going to grab control of it, create a rectangle path, and then fill it with this custom solid color we've given it here. So even if the custom draw function doesn't make sense to you, just know that it's taking in whatever button we've said onDraw to, and we're going to also give it this fill brush and create this solid color. So now if we go ahead and run it, you can see we've successfully added a color inside of there. If you want, you can also check out the rect path method to get more details on how this is set up. It needs the left, top, width, and height. So what it's doing is essentially just saying from the top left corner, draw a rectangle to the size of the button. If I wanted to, I could say maybe 0.5 and reduce the actual fill so we have half of the color and half of the original button. This isn't always useful, but it could be in some cases. So now that we have the color, we now need to add functionality so we can click on it, change it, and update it. So in order to get actions, we have a button. So we can call our color button 1, and we'll say .onClick is equal to an anonymous function. And this is where whenever we click on the button, we want to load up the color picker and then update it after we've selected something. So I'll create a variable called color picker, and I'll set this equal to a global object dot color picker. And then this of course requires a color input, not an RGB, it requires a hex value. So what I'm also going to do before we go into this onClick function is create a variable called hex. This needs to be a hexadecimal string containing our color. So I'm going to load up After Effects really quick and just get the hexadecimal equivalent to this. I'll create a new solid, type in the values in RGB, and then I'll copy this hex value and paste it in here. And the only difference, we need to actually start it off with 0x. That's just the hexadecimal format that it requires for the color picker. So this should be the same orange color. And what this means is whenever we click on it, we need to change this to hex. Whenever we click on the color picker, it's going to use whatever this is to display. So if I was to run this, click on it, you can see the default color inside of our color picker is the hexadecimal value we gave it. So we're also going to need to update this value if they say changed it to blue, and then it's not going to load up blue again, so we need to keep track of that. Now we need to double check if they've actually selected a new color. So when you click on cancel, it's going to say the color picker is equal to -1, which is basically just telling you they clicked on cancel. So I'm going to create an if and an else statement, and I'm going to say if our color picker does not equal -1, then we're going to write a line saying user selected a color. And if it is -1, that means they clicked on cancel, and we're going to say the user didn't select a color. So now we should be able to get some feedback over here in the JavaScript console of what's going on. So if I run the script, click on it, say change the color, click on OK, you can see the user has selected a color. If I click on it again and click on cancel, the user did not select a color. So this is useful. If they don't select anything, you may not want to do anything. In my case, I don't. But if they do select a new color, we need to do two things. We need to update the color box itself by using the same sort of onDraw function. And then we also need to update the hexadecimal value so the next time we click on this, it will be updated. So one thing I need to mention is that we're going to be creating this update color button function, and this is required because there is a bit of a weird glitch sometimes with scripts in that if you turn off an element and turn it back on, it will update it. So now we're going to be creating this function called update color button, which is going to require a button and a color. Pretty simple. So we're going to be giving it this color button, as well as we need to convert this hex value into RGB. So if the user selected a color, I'm going to create a variable called R, a variable called G, and a variable called B. And in fact, I'm just going to paste the code from the previous script because this is just a hexadecimal to RGB shift here. We're going to take the color picker and we're going to shift the bits in order to convert it to hex into RGB. So this here will get the R value, this here will get the G, and this here will get the B. And just to make sure, I'll go ahead and write it out to make sure we're getting the right values. So now if we go ahead and select a new color, click on OK, user selected a color, and that color is 63, 117, 243. So it's using a range from 0 to 255, which we'll need to update as well to be 0 to 1. So now we have the RGB and the color button. Let's go ahead and call our update color button function. We're going to give it color button 1, and the color is going to be our RGB. But the RGB it needs to be in the range from 0 to 1. So we're going to divide each of these values by 255. You can also multiply them by 0.003, I believe, which is a little bit faster programming wise. But we're just going to say divided by 255 to get the normalized value. And now we need to go ahead and write our update color function to make this color the new color we've selected. So what we can actually do is take this color button code here and paste it. We're going to need to update the variable names to, instead of be color button 1, to just be our button. So that way we can run this update color button function with as many buttons as we want and not have to keep changing the name and make different functions. And then instead of this array here, we're going to use our color argument, and that should go ahead and do that. But remember, this is not enough. This is just setting up what the fill brush should be. Now we need to draw on the screen of what that fill brush should be. So I'm going to say button.onDraw is equal to custom draw. And in most cases, that should update it. So let's go ahead and run it. Change the color to say blue. And you can see the user selected a color, but the color doesn't update until I wiggle my mouse around it, which is what I was talking about, in that we need to do a little bit of turning off and on to trick the program into thinking that. So as you can see, there's a bit of a weird flashing going on. If I change the color, it doesn't always update. So what we need to do is wiggle the mouse around and you can see it updates then. It's a strange glitch, but we have a way around it. All we need to do is grab our button and set it to enabled equals false. We're going to turn it off, and then we're going to turn it right back on after that. So if we go ahead and run it, select a new color, click on OK, it's then going to update our color regardless if we have the mouse around or moving it, and that's good. The only last thing we need to do is to make sure that when we click on the button again, it remembers what color is on the screen. So right now we have a blue, but when we click on it, it's still using that orange. So what we're going to do is once the user has selected a color, we're going to say hex is equal to our color picker. So now when we run the script, change the color to say green, it's going to update the green color, and now when we go back in, it's going to remember that green color inside of the color picker. And likewise, if you change a color, say to purple, click on cancel, it will not update it and remember the previous color. So that's how you guys can create a color button inside of your script UI. It's a little bit of a tricky workaround in that you have to use some tricks to make the button automatically update and display. But basically you can set whatever custom solid color you want, go in and check out all of the options for the fill, the brushes and all of that, and customize your UI much more. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below, as well as the bell icon to be notified of new videos coming out twice weekly. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video, and of course leave any comments or questions down in the comment section down below. And of course this code will be available on GitHub in the link in the description, where you can also follow us there on GitHub or follow us on Instagram to be notified of cool updates and behind the scenes. No matter where you guys are in the world, make sure to stay safe and stay calm. Things are going to be alright. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next one.